Okay, am I audible? Richa ma'am, am I audible? Vikas sir, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you ma'am. Thank you so much. Okay, well, good morning to one and all. I, Dr. Bharti Kukreja, extend a heartfelt welcome to all the faculty members, students of BSc IITM Faridabad, and from other prestigious institutions from all over the India, and especially the speaker of the day, Dr. Richa Sharma. Yes, we have with us Dr. Richa Sharma. She is going to share her views on biometrics and face recognition techniques during COVID-19. Dr. Richa Sharma has an outstanding profile. She is doctorate in electronics and communication engineering. Dr. Sharma is presently associated with Punjabi University, Patiala. She has published around 64 research papers in the journals of international repute. Her areas of research are digital image processing, filter designing, artificial neural network, and optimization techniques. She has also done in-depth research on face recognition techniques for user authentication. Dr. Richa Sharma has versatile personality. She has also been crowned as Miss World Punjaban in 2008 in Dubai. That sounds amazing. So now, without taking much of your time, I hand over the session to Dr. Sharma. Ma'am, now the session is all yours. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. And thanks for the nice introduction you have given. And we are starting the session with our participants. Today I'm taking your session on the topic biometrics. As you all are very much familiar with the biometrics, we all are having, just wait. My screen is visible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
It's visible.
thank you. These days, we are all having the Aadhaar cards. And in Aadhaar cards, what we are having, our prints, like we are giving the prints of our face, thumb, palm, fingerprints. All these are collected at one place and make a database. And on the basis of that, we are recognized at many places. For example, we are at the airports, for our iCards. At many places, they demand the Aadhaar card. So these all are the parts of the biometrics. And why I'm considering the face during this pandemic COVID-19, we will discuss later on why face recognition is more important during this COVID-19. So I'm starting with the basic introduction of biometrics. The term biometrics comes from the Greek word bios and metrics. Bio means the lives and metrics means the measures, where we measures the individual characteristics, behavior. In the terms of computer security, biometrics refers to the authentication techniques. Authentication techniques means which are legally authentic for the recognition of a person. Biometrics consist two major parts. One is the verification and second is the identification. There is a great difference between these two terms, the verification and the identification. Verification means that when we are having one individual and we are having a large number of database and we are searching that person from that large database. For example, I am Richa Sharma and I am having a large database of these 87 participants, and I want to search Richa Sharma from these 87 participants. This is called verification. Then identification means that my image is searched out that yes, this is Richa Sharma, and one is the input image. When these two images are compared, when they are matched, this is called identification. This means we can say that the input data is recognized with the given image. Basically, biometrics means that who she is versus what she possesses. who she is means who is I am, means what I am, and what I possess means what characteristics, means I am recognized on the basis of face, I am recognized on the basis of fingerprints, I am recognized on the basis of thumbprints, means what characteristics I am possessing on which I am recognized. There are many qualities which should be kept in mind while choosing the biometric parameters. It should be universal, it should be distinctive, permissible, collectible, performance, acceptability, means these all the major characteristics. Universal means uh, that the person can be the characteristics of the person can be taken without disturbing the person, and it is universally means everybody consists of that parameter. Distinctive means it is unique one. Collective means it can be easily collectible. On the basis of these things we are having few parameters, and these are the measures which we should keep in mind, that the parameter which we are choosing should be accurate, the speed of the parameter should be good, resource requirement be harmless to the user, it is not harmful to the person while collecting the database, be accepted by the intended population, be sufficient robust to the various attacks. Basically biometrics, when we are working on the biometrics model, we are having four models: sensor module, feature module, matcher module, and system database module. What these modules actually are, this is the block diagram of the biometrics. We are having the sensor. Sensor means the initial thing where our parameters are collected. For example, I'm talking about the face recognition. There is a camera which collects the images of the persons. So first input is the sensor, and from that sensor we collect the unique features of each image. This is called feature extraction. Feature extraction part is done on the basis of algorithms. There are different algorithms for feature extraction which I discuss later on. Then we are having the matcher or the decision maker. Matcher or decision maker means that if you are looking here on the screen, there, this is the on this side, right side, I am writing system database. System database means we are already having a large number of database. We are having a collection of database. When this database is compared with the input image, here it takes place in the decision maker, and in the decision maker it will tell us whether the input image is matching or not. When it is matching, it gives the true. When it is not matching, it gives the false answer. So this is the basic. On the basis of this, we divided the biometrics in four parameters. If we are doing the biometrics at the initial level, at the sensor level, then it is called sensor module. If we are working on feature extraction, then it is called a feature module. If we are working on the matcher module, then it is called matcher module. Then here again the biometrics works in two ways, whether we are doing the verification or we are doing the identification. As previously I have told you that verification means does this biometrics belongs to a individual person, or identification means whose biometric data is it, means when we are identifying a person from a large database, that is called identification. When we are searching it from means comparing individual image with his another image, that is verification. So this is before starting all these means, as I have told you this previous block diagram, here we are having the two main things. One is the enrollment and second one is the execution. Enrollment means that the initial stage where we are collecting the database. Means for example, we are 10 members in a family and we are giving our feature parameters in the Aadhaar card. We are submitting our parameters in the Aadhaar card, and they when different peoples are giving their features, a database is generated, and that database, the content of the database, means how the database is collected, is process is same: login interface, quality checker, feature extractor, then the database is concerned. Means we are getting the required database. If you people remember, when we are giving going for the Aadhaar card enrollment, wahan pe we have given the fingerprints, and we are giving the ARIS recognition also, a instrument which we kept near to our eyes, and we are looking into that. And then we are giving the face recognition. All these are collected at one place, and that is becoming the system database. After that, it depends on the system whether it wants to do the verification or it wants to do the identification. Means we are having ready with this database, as here we are having the database. Now this is the database of large population. Then this matcher will tell us that whether we are doing the verification or we are doing the identification. The features which are collected in the database are called templates. Means when I'm saying the fingerprints or face or ARIS, these all are becoming the templates. This is the identification, same process, but the difference is that here the algorithm which we are using for finding out whether that is identification or verification. Recognition is a generic term of verification and identification. When we are talking broadly about whether we are doing verification or identification, we are generally use a term recognition. Then biometric verification system makes two type of errors. When we are generating the biometric parameters, we are having some errors also. First is false match, and second is false non-match. False match means that my image, means input image, is matched with someone else. Means system is saying that these two people are same, but in actual when we are comparing, the images are different. This type of error is called false matching. When we are having the same images, means input is of this person A and the output is again the image of person A, that is called false non-match. Means match is true, we are looking at the images, the match is true, but system is saying that this is a false match. These are some terms which are generally used in the biometrics. I will come later on all these: false match rate, false non-match rate, failure to capture, failure to enroll. Sometimes you feel that when you are giving your fingerprints, the person who is taking your fingerprint, he is saying that, ma'am, please rub your fingers, then put on the scanner. Sometimes he is saying 2-3 times to put your fingers on the scanner. So sometimes the scanner is not able to capture the image. So that is the failure of capture. Failure of enrollment means that you have given your templates, you have given everything, but still the system is not enroll you. So here's, I'm giving you some biometric parameters which are used. DNA. DNA is used as one of the unique code for identification. Even identical twins have different DNAs. Then privacy issues are also there. Ear, every person has the unique ear shape. So these days, the ear is also used as for the recognition purpose. Then face is very much common, as you people are having many applications, for example on your mobiles. When you unlock your face, you put means you are unlocking your phone by using the face recognition biometrics. Then another are facial, hand veins, infrared thermography. These all, as shown in the figure, the veins of the hand are recognized for the authentication purpose. Every person have different veins. These are the fingerprints. Fingerprints are used for biometrics. Then we are having hands, fingers, geometry. Every person is having the different shape, different geometry of the hands. And gestures means every person is having the different way of speaking, every different way of walking. Different person have the different gestures. So on the basis of gestures, we can recognize the authentic person also. Aries, again, this is one of the good method, and this is also used in Aadhaar cards also. Then keystrokes, the way I'm pressing the keys of my laptop or my mobile, this is also used for the recognition purpose. Odo means smell. Every person is having his unique body smell, and on the basis of that, we can recognize the person. Then palm print again comes under the different geometry of your hand. Then signatures again, different, every person has a different way of writing, and different way of the strokes, how much pressure he is putting on particular alphabet. And voice, I will show you one video on voice also in few seconds. I'm talking about all these parameters, but these parameters, if I'm coming back to DNA, ear, face, then hand geometry, fingerprints, all these, every parameter has its unique features. Unique features means when we want to collect the data from by using these parameters, there are some hurdles. Means that when we are talking about the authentication, we should not disturb the person whose parameters or templates we are searching out. Means, for example, we are at the airport and we want to detect some terrorist on the airport. If we are calling individual person on the desk, then the terror will know that they people are searching for me. So we are searching that person without knowing the crowd that we are applying the detection parameters. So whenever we are choosing the biometric parameters, it should be like that. It should not disturb the person. It should not disturb the privacy of the person. The parameter should be like this. For here I'm putting a slide, the comparison of all the parameters. DNA is at the higher rate, but everybody is not ready to give the DNA. So whether it is universally gives a good distinctive, permissibility is good, collectability is good, but we are having the thing is, the person whose DNA is to be taken sometimes not ready, or sometimes the person is not in our approach, how we can say give you a DNA test. Second, ear is again means, as we know, is the side part of our body. Sometimes it is not possible to click the clear image of the ear. And face is one of the good parameter, we can click the photo, we can capture the person without telling him. As you all know, we are having the CC cameras, we are having the hidden cameras, we can capture the videos, we can capture the images. So all these biometric identifiers are having some positive things and some negative things. Whenever we are choosing the biometric parameter, means on which parameter we are working, these are used for commercial as ATM, credit card, cellular phone, distance learning. Then in government cases, I-cards, driver license, social security, passports, etc. In forensic, we are having terrorist identification, missing child. We can find out all these things using the biometrics. These are the images which are using the ATMs for biometric, means ATMs using biometrics. Advantages: all the users of the system have equal security level. Means sometimes we forget our passwords, sometimes the password is hacked. So but if we are using the biometric, then there is no chance of hacking. Some limitations means that the captured images are having the noise parameter. Means when we are clicking the images from real ground, when we clicked the images, when we capture, when we process the data, it some sound noise is also there. Noise means disturbance, unwanted data is also captured in the image. Then interclass variations means that, means we are having, let's say we are having the person like this, but when we are searching or when we are capturing his image, it may be his side pose or his um, mm, he's with specs. Means another parameters can also come. Means when you are giving your image in the database, it is your front view, but when you are searched on the real ground, maybe your side image is captured. So this is called interclass variation. Then when a very good thing about the biometrics is that it works in two ways. One is the unimodal and second is the multimodal. Unimodal means that when we are working on single phase only. Single phase means, if means either we are taking the fingerprints, either we are taking the face, or we are taking the iris, means we are considering only one parameter. So unimodal sometimes may not work. Means when, let's say you are having your fingerprints, but somehow due to some accident your hand is get means some your fingerprint is not able to come. In that you are not able to open the door. So we are having 2 3 another parameters. The same way in the Aadhaar card, they are collecting 3 4 parameters from a individual, so that if one parameter is not working, the some another parameter will work for that. These are the combinations for multimodal. Means we can have wait yes. we are having multi biometrics, means that we are having the combination of voice and face. We are having the combination of voice, lip movement, voice, face, lip movement. These all are the combinations which we are using in multimodal biometric. Then multimodal biometrics again comes under three categories. One is serial, parallel, and hierarchy. Serial means when first parameter, the output of first parameter is given to second parameter, and output of second is given to third, and we are getting the result. For example, first we are taking the fingerprints. The output of fingerprint is given to the next classifier. Classifier means uh, here I'm showing the block diagram, but it is the algorithm which identifies, which extracts the features. Means first classifier, let's say, identifies your fingerprints, and second identifier is searching for your face, and third is searching your lip movement. The combined result is we are getting as a result. Combined output we are getting as result. And this is the actual how the serial biometric works. Means first it shows the uh, fingerprints, then face, then palm, and all get fused. Means additional biometric, yes, fusion, then again additional biometric fusion, and at the end we are getting the decision. This is how the serial biometrics work. And second one is the parallel. In parallel we are having the number of classifiers, classifier 1, classifier 2, 3, and so on. All these are combined at one place and we are getting the result. This is how it works. Then third is the combination of serial as well as the parallel. First classifier, second classifier, they combined in classifier J, and here again we are having the classifier which is again combined classifier K. These both are parallel, and they comes under the classifier N, and we are getting the result. When we are using the multimodal biometrics, it becomes more secure and more accurate. Errors are reduced false acceptance rate, reduced false rejection rate, reduce failure to enroll. Means if one parameter is not working, let's say fingerprints are not working, it may works on the face parameter, it may work on the lip movement parameter. So rejection rate as well as the enrollment rate is less. Then as we increase the number of parameters, the cost increases. Also the enrollment time increases, and it will take large time to get the recognition. These are the fusion levels. As in the previous, I have told you about the unimodal biometric. We are having fusion at sensor level, feature level, opinion level, and decision level. Means fusion means where we combine the two parameters. This is the block diagram which shows the fusion at initial level. This is the fusion at decision maker level. This is the fusion at matching level. And this is how biometrics, different things which we are used in the biometric. Multiple sensors are used in multimode biometry, multiple biometrics means we are having face, fingerprints, iris, anything. Then multiple units, multiple snapshots, then multiple matchers. Means as we are having everything in the multiple form, so it becomes costly and it will take much time for the execution. Okay, before moving to this face recognition, as I have told you that we are having large number of parameters, but we are choosing face recognition. Why? I'm just showing you one video which is funny also and will refresh you.
Playing jazz.
Playing jazz.
Smoothie.
Making smoothie.
Calendar.
No meetings today. Remember, dentist at 9:30.
Fire off.
Fire off.
Open door.
Door open.
And we're going to do one more.
Fire. Open door.
Run voice command.
Open door.
Run voice command.
Open. Open door.
Repeat that.
Open door.
I didn't understand that.
Hey! Open door!
Play on the floor.
Get on the floor! Open the door!
Wrong voice command. Error.
Here. With a rock. Open door. Open door.
Higher.
So this is the video related to voice recognition. Sometimes techniques will not work. When you are not having the correct exact voice, the things will not get recognized. So that's why whenever we are choosing the biometric parameter, we should such type of parameter that is long lasting, that is remains same throughout your life. As you are getting aging, as you are having different face poses, it will not disturb you. And I am working in this field that we are having different, we are researching on face recognition, as I have a few papers on invariant face recognition, where the means poses are not invariant, means whether in which angle we are taking the image, but the face is to be recognized. So moving on this face recognition, first I would like again to show a small video which gives you a little introduction how the face recognition is working. So one more video of I think 1 or 2 minutes.
Within just a few decades, facial recognition has gone from being some staple of highly advanced security systems in movies to existing all around us and even in the palms of our hands. The technology has been implemented in several ways in our society. Some phones use facial recognition to grant access, and some governments, like China and the US, are using facial recognition on databases like driver's licenses for a variety of reasons. Then we've got fun things like Snapchat filters that utilize facial detection. Now, there's a big difference between facial detection and facial recognition. With facial detection, the computer is saying, yep, that's a face. And with facial recognition, the computer is saying, yep, that's your face. This ability to confirm identity is something our brains pick up on pretty quickly when we're young, but it's actually a pretty complex problem for computers. So, let's take a look at facial recognition and the science of how it works. When you think of a human face, you probably think of a pretty basic set of features. A face has eyes, a nose, and a mouth. But obviously, there's more to a face than just these features. In fact, to get a good idea of how complex this problem can get, you can draw a bunch of different simple faces. You'll notice that they differ in a lot of factors, like the width of the nose, the distance between the eyes, the shape and the size of the mouth, and so on. Some facial recognition technologies look at up to 80 factors on the face to help identify unique features and ultimately identities. These features get to be pretty detailed, observing things like the depth of eye sockets, the height of cheekbones, and the shape of the jawline. Of course, with so many detailed factors to be measured, some complications can arise. For instance, consider the problem of aging faces. After all, as we get older, we look different. In order to work around this, computers have learned what features tend to go relatively unchanged no matter how old we get, and they look closely at these features. But even if we didn't age, there would still be everyday complications. What happens if the computer tries to analyze your face, but you're not looking at its sensor or camera at precisely the same angle every time? This is something humans encounter on a daily basis, but never really have a problem with. For computers, though, this can present a seriously complicated obstacle in detecting and recognizing faces. So, engineers have found a few different techniques to work around this. A lot of phones that utilize facial recognition will prompt you to move your face around when you set up the facial identification system in order to know what you look like from different angles. Other systems utilize 2D to 3D technologies that map 2D images of your face onto a 3D model to calculate what you would look like from different angles. Computers measure these factors down to scales smaller than a millimeter in order to generate a face print, which, as the name implies, is basically a fingerprint, but for your face. And these face prints have become incredibly accurate. They're able to correctly identify people with a near 100% accuracy, and are even able to detect the minor differences in identical twins. As the technology has improved and become more widespread, the possibilities for its uses have grown as well. Right now, we use facial recognition every day for things like phone security, but the technology is seeing more serious uses from important organizations like banks and even governments. In Japan, some banks are looking at implementing facial recognition technologies into their ATMs as a security measure for verifying transactions. In the United States, important government agencies like ICE and the FBI are using facial recognition to create databases from existing documents like driver's licenses. Whatever the use, we know that this technology is becoming more and more present in our daily lives, and it doesn't look like that'll be stopping anytime soon. So, as is the case with all things, it's important that we stay educated and informed about these technologies. After all, they're learning as much as they can about us.
So, this is a small introduction related to face recognition. As we all are using on your mobiles, it's simple. We are keeping our face in front of the mobile, and our mobile get unlocked. But what is the science behind this? So that all comes under the face recognition. As we all are having the good ability to recognize different persons. If we meet some person 10 years ago, and if we meet him after 10 years, we can recognize that person. But it is very difficult for a machine to recognize that person. So how the system, how the database works in face recognition, that we talk about. Here again, the face works under two parameters, identification and verification. These are the two, I can say, the backbones of the biometrics. We must clear about these two things, identification and verification. One to many and one to one. Fine. For example, first one is the image of a person. Fine. And this is some image which we want to compare. This is different pose, the person is smiling, and this is the different pose, the person is sitting still without smiling, but the face recognition takes place. This is called verification, one-to-one matching. But when we are having the input image and we are having a large number of images and we find out who this person is, this is called one-to-n matching. Means we are comparing one person with n number of other persons. So this is called recognition or the identification. Applications of face recognition. Here I am talking about the face recognition. Public security means without disturbing the person, we are taking the images, or means it is a part of public security. Law enforcement and commerce, then credit card verification, criminal identifications, access control, human computer intelligent interaction, digital libraries and information securities, all these things where we are using the face recognition. There are some challenges in face recognition. The first one is the presence or absence of structural component. Structural component means the person is having the mustaches, braid, glasses, or any extra accessory on his face. Sometimes some people are having the nose pin, sometimes people are having the hole near their eyebrows. So these all are the structural components the person is wearing. So whenever we are doing the recognition, that is invariant from all these parameters. Second is pose. The image of the face, images of a face varies due to the relative camera face poses. Sometimes we are taking frontal view, tilted, profile, upside down. As you people are using in the Snapchat, we are having the different filters, and in every we are having the different pose. So the face recognition is also invariant from all these things also. Then expressions, facial expressions and emotions. Expressions means sometimes the person is in happy mood, sometimes he is sad, sometimes surprised. All these changes the facial expressions, and when the facial expressions changes, the recognition rate also changes. So this is also one of the means major challenge in face recognition. Occultation means covering, partial covering. Here I am talking about the face recognition during COVID-19. As these days we all are covering our face with the mask. So how the face recognition takes place? Our Aadhaar card is having the image without mask, but these days we are wearing the mask. So how the recognition takes place? These days, this is one of the major challenge, and people are working on such algorithms where that mask identity means occultation or the partial covering of your face will not disturb the facial recognition. Fine. As if you are having in your mobiles, you are having the face recognition application, and you are not able to recognize your face with the mask. So how you will do that? Image orientation means rotation at different angles, at different, sometimes the image is taken by the drone, sometimes we are capturing the image from the video. So we are having the different orientations of the image. Image conditions. Condition means sometimes image is very bright, sometimes the image is very dull. For example, we are taking the image of a terrorist, that is very blur, means 40 years back we are taking some image, and that is not in the good condition. good condition means that is not recognizable. So the algorithm should be like that. It will retrieve the image and will work on the recognition. Then age, as you see, uh, in our childhood we are having the different appearance, but as we grow the appearance changes. But face recognition should be such that it should not affected by your age. Sometimes with age the people are getting wrinkles on their faces, sometimes the people getting scars on their faces, or sometimes people get obese with age, and the fat comes on their faces. This is one of the major challenge in face recognition. Then the size of database means that we are having a huge number of database, means that if we are talking about the database of population of India, then it is very difficult to search a person from a millions of persons. So these are some images. First one shows the different poses. Second one is showing the different facial expressions. Third one is showing the as mask, is a person is wearing the glasses and person is covering his face with the scarf. Then next one is the illumination. Different light conditions are there. Here one more, the first picture is more bright as compared to the second one. This is the darker images, means if we are recognize this person on the database, it's difficult to recognize. Then these are some collage of different oculated faces. Sometimes the faces are covered with the dupatta, sometimes with the braid, sometimes with glasses. Sometimes we are capturing a person while drinking water. So if we are having only one unique photo of this person, how we can recognize this person? This is one of the major challenge in face recognition. Yeah, this is one of the important thing these days. Researchers are working on aging. With age, the face parameters are changing. The appearance of the face is changing with age. So here I'm talking about some algorithms on which we are working, and we are making them invariant. This is the first algorithm in which we are having the face database, and training set means that we are having a set of images from this large database. Then from this face database, we are taking one test image and comparing it here, and we are getting the decision whether the image is making or not. These are some technical things, the feature extraction, feature vectors. So I'm not going into the details of this. I'm telling you feature extraction means that here you are having only the images, but from that images you are extracting the valuable part or the important parameters which are required for the recognition purpose. So that is called, here we are having large number of feature extraction algorithms. This is another one where we are working on the neural networks. Okay, I want to show you from this. Here we are having the test image which we want to find out that image from the database. How this is working, this is the large database. If you are looking, all are different images. These are the eigenfaces. Eigenfaces are come out after putting the algorithm, feature extraction algorithm, and after that we are getting the result. I'm showing you here. I think it is more easy to understand from this image. We are having an input image, and from this image we are detecting different parts. One is means we are finding the eyes, separating the eyes, nose and lips of from this face. Means we are detecting the parts of the face. Fine. Then we are putting the algorithm, and that is I'm not explaining here. I'm showing you the results. These are the results. Look at here. This is the test image in which the person is smiling and wearing the glasses. When we are putting the algorithm, we are matched this image. So we can say that the face recognition can be calculated free, means component free, and the expression free. Whatever the expression we are capturing, we are getting the image in any form. Then second one is the image, the lady is smiling and the eyes are closed, and here we are getting mouth closed and eyes are open. These two are the true matchings. And sorry, this is third one is the false matching. We have read the term false matching. So we are having the test image, but we are matched someone else. So this is the error rate in the algorithm. So this is another algorithm which we are applying, pose invariant. Pose invariant means that we are having different input image in different pose, and we are having the output in different pose. And this third one is we are working on age variation. Age variation, I am showing you the images. This is the images of a database, Amir Khan, different poses and different images at different images at different age levels. These are not. For example, here we are having the Aishwarya Rai's images from childhood to till means present date. How aging is working: as we grow older, our bone structure of the face is also changing its dimensions. As we are of 2 years, our jawbone is less strong. As we are growing, the age is bone is going stronger and prominent. So on the basis of these parameters, we are finding out the age. I'm showing you the results only here. Again, this is the input image whose age we want to find out. Means what is the age of this image, and we are applying the age filter which we have generated, age filter on the previous image, and in that we find out the facial wrinkles. We are detecting the wrinkles of the face. Means age can be detected from the skin texture. Skin texture means the wrinkles appear on the face with age. So these are detected with the age filter, and this is the output image. Means that in the previous images, the first image is of age 20, second is of 23, and third is 25. Means that we are giving the input image, and when we are getting the output image, we are getting the output image with age. That we are having the algorithm which tells us that what is the age of the image. जो हम image दे रहे हैं उसकी, it will tell the age of that image only, not the person. With this, the things are completed from my side. If you are having the queries, the house is open for discussion. Thank you.
Sir, now I would request Vikas sir to please coordinate. I guess There was a student, Deepu Rai. He was having some doubt. There was a participant. His name is Deepu Rai. He is having some doubt.
Should I unmute him or the Vikas sir will unmute him?
No, ma'am. Since you are the host, so you, if you
Okay.
can please unmute him.
Okay. What's the name?
This is Deepu Rai. DEEPU Deepu Rai.
Okay. Should I hand over the rights to sir? Actually, I'm not able.
Yeah. Okay. It would be better, ma'am.
Yeah.
Deepura, you can ask now. What's your query?
Okay. Deepu, you had some question?
अरे इनसफिशिएंट है ना ज्यादा ही
तो
प्रॉब्लम
दीपू हमें आपकी आवाज आ रही है अगर आपकी कोई क्वेरी
फोन कट कर मैं देखता हूँ ठीक है
Deepu, you were having some doubt, Mr. Deepu Rai?
यस मैम
Okay, please ask the question.
ठीक है मैम मैम माय फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन टू यू दैट व्हाट आर द रियल टाइम इश्यूज विद द लार्ज स्केल फेस रिकॉग्निशन
Real-time issues are, as I have discussed, that we are having different parameters. First, one is to capture the image of that person. Second thing is, you are talking about the face recognition or in general parameters of biometrics?
नो मैम फेस रिकॉग्निशन
Okay, in face recognition, we are having first thing that we are having is image, noise-free image. Whenever we are capturing the image, the noise parameter is most prominent component which disturbs the real images. And second is you can say the pose of the person, in which pose you are collecting the image, that is important. Yes.
Okay, you also had one more question, Mr. Deepu.
हेलो
Okay, are you satisfied?
मैम वन मोर क्वेश्चन
Yes.
Okay, please.
Ma'am, what are the challenges of high degree of security come using biometric of finger veins? Ma'am, India is a big country, you know that.
Yes.
And to manage that biometric data to database, some threshold challenges are coming. So to prevent that, what high degree of security comes for solving this issue?
Okay, the government is working on the security parameters, as one is they are capturing unique features that are not be hacked by the hackers, and second thing, they are educating the people that not sharing your private data with the public. As you know, we are not these days we are getting the calls, not share your password or your bank account details with any person. Means they are taking the awareness parameters, means awareness measurements to educate the people. Clear?
Okay. Is anybody else who is having any doubt or wants to ask a question? Is anybody else? Because
then raise your
yes.
hand.
Yes, please raise your hand and then we will unmute you.
No more hand, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, no more thing. Okay, for your information, participants, we have just floated the feedback link in your chat box. Then please do take care of that, because you have to use that feedback link, and fill the feedback. After then, your certificate will get generated. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. One more student,
Okay.
Ashlesh Singh. Okay, ma'am, welcome. Ashlesh, you can ask your doubt now.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, voice is not clear.
Oh, hello.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, ma'am. While the multimodal biometric systems are considered to be more robust than the unimodal ones, which ones are more vulnerable to the spoofing attempts?
Spoofing attacks. Yeah. Generally, if we are talking about I have shown you one slide also. There, I have told you that the fingerprints and your voice is more spoofing. So in biometrics, that is why they are taking four or five parameters, that if one is not working, they are working on the second. If one is not satisfied, then second parameter, third parameter, and so on.
Okay. What's your good name, sir? Who was this who was asking the question? Okay, then there is another participant. He is Arshvir Singh. Arshvir Singh has some doubt.
No, ma'am. Ashlesh Singh ke doubt.
Okay, okay.
Now, Rajni.
Then Miss Rajni is there. She is having some doubt.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Okay. Is this Miss Rajni?
Yes, ma'am. Are you listening to me?
Okay, okay. Yes, we are. Please go ahead.
Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, you have discussed about the limitations of biometric recognition in the slide.
Yes.
There you discussed 2 points. One was about noise. That noise gets mixed with the data and it creates some problem.
Yes.
What was the second point? I actually missed that. So, ma'am, can you go back to that slide and explain that?
No problem. I will share the PPT with Gaurav sir, and he will share with you people also.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
So there, if you people want to note, if you are having any queries, you can mail me also. Actually, I'm working on face recognition from last 5-6 years. So you can discuss in detail with me also on email. My email ID is reecha@pbi.ac.in. I think I will show you. Yes, this is my email address, reecha, reecha@pbi.ac.in. If you are having any query related to this face recognition, you can discuss with me on email.
Okay. Just an information from our in charge that all the participants have to switch on their video mode so that we can just take your attendance. You requested to please switch on your video mode. Is anybody else having query? Yes, all the participants are requested to please switch on your video mode. Few participants have not still switched on their video modes, so we can't see their faces. And by the time you can also make use of that feedback link. If anybody has not filled feedback through that link, please do so. There is Mr. Vishal Mehta. He is also having some doubt. So please go ahead. Mr. Vishal Mehta, can we talk? Vikas sir, please unmute Mr. Vishal Mehta.
Ma'am, from my side, it's clear.
Okay,
now
okay,
it's audible.
please.
Hello.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, good afternoon, ma'am. So I have a question that if there are twins, like, so how the algorithm identify the twins?
Uh, even the
That
twins
is there
are
any
having the
differentiation?
different parameters.
Okay.
They are having the different structure of their face. They are having the different structure of their fingerprints. Even identical twins having the different biometric parameters.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. Actually, I was facing the scenario that I have a twin brother.
Okay.
So whenever he is using his mobile phone to unlock his mobile, so it also recognizes my face on to
Okay.
unlock his phone. So I am having some kind of doubt in that.
There are some flaws in the technology also, but when you are working on the authenticity, means when you are working on the you can say the security point of view, when you are collecting, means you, if you are having the face recognition on your mobile, add one more parameter, means either you add the fingerprints or something else, voice or fingerprint.
Okay, okay,
You can add that
okay, ma'am.
parameter, increasing the security. That's why I'm saying that the multi-biometric is better as compared to biometric.
Okay, ma'am. I got my answer.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any other participant who would like to raise some question or doubt? Any other participant? I guess nobody else is there. Otherwise, we have also provided you the email ID of our speaker. So you can also interact with her later on if in case in future you have any doubt. So I think we should come to the end of this session. Thank you so much, ma'am, for sparing your precious time. We hope that you will be connected to us for the guidance in the future also. We are also thankful to all the participants who made out their time and scheduled to join this webinar. Sorry. We are grateful to our director, Professor Tyagi, principals, Professor Pawan Bhadana, our senior faculty, Professor Karan Gaurav Bansal, and other members of the organizing committee who have coordinated the webinar very well. So last but not the least, we are again grateful to Dr. Richa Sharma. We are sure that all the participants will be benefited by this very informative seminar. Thanks a lot to all of you. So let us wind up this webinar, but actually this is not the end of this webinar. The Zoom room is still open for all the participants so that they can conveniently